Hi everybody, it's Dandruff with your news Cartridge for Friday, July 27th, 2018. Welcome to the end of the week, and because it's Friday, you know what time it is. Time for this week's Steam Code giveaway. This week it goes to nothing with your comment here about putting Farming Simulator into Great Games Done Slow, and I absolutely love this idea. I love it so much that I am giving you a code for Hearts of Iron 4. Please reply to your original message with either your Twitter handle or your Discord ID, and I will send you a private message. Next week I'm giving away Titan Quest Anniversary Edition, so if you want to enter, be sure to comment. And don't forget, before we get down to business, timestamps along with reference links can all be found in the description below. There are video game companies that I view as good, like CD Projekt Red, who try to give gamers as much value as they can for their spending dollar. Then there are others that I like with a genuine past, but I see going in a wrong way. I'm talking about Blizzard here, but I still have hope for them. Then there's developers that I'm neutral towards. Hi-Rez would be one of them. I really don't like them, but I really don't dislike them either. They have their good qualities and they have their bad qualities. There are some developers that I feel have done some questionable things with their games in the last few years, but for the most part have avoided political controversy. I'm looking at you, Square Enix. There are developers that are nothing but controversy. Digital Homicide comes to mind, but I think it's best we talk about crybabies as little as possible. Then there are two developers that I expect the absolute worst from. One is more active than the other, and that is Konami and EA. And let's face it, Konami just does two games these days, PES and Bomberman, and ever since they left Kojima alone, they really haven't been causing a fuss. So that brings us to EA, a company that is on the verge of shutting down BioWare if Anthem doesn't go well, and let's face it, it probably won't, and one that you don't think can sink any lower has just sunk lower. Oh, and by the way, I am painting them in this terrible picture just to pat them on the back in the next story. Just you watch. Every now and then, EA would give away a game on either EA or Origin Access via their on-the-house program. It was generally an older game and one considered retired by EA, but a free game is a free game nonetheless and very much appreciated. EA has decided to do away with on-the-house completely, probably to favor their subscription service, the aforementioned EA and Origin Access. Now, I do have to say, I think the service is worth it at $5 a month or $30 a year if you don't mind not owning your games, because it does allow you to play as much as you like and you can cancel at any time. However, I don't think cutting off free samples is a great way to get people to test your product. It's a much better strategy to offer everyone a free game each month and then tell people, hey, if you missed that game, how about subscribing to Origin Access? All of our games are over there. And that's where the next topic comes in. EA is launching a premiere edition of their EA and Origin subscription service, and much like Xbox Game Pass, it will have major launches available on the day of release. This includes games like Battlefield 5, BioWare's Anthem, and FIFA 19. For less than the cost of two full-priced games, you can have access to every game in EA's library and vault. More specifically, it's $15 a month, $100 a year, or your regional equivalent, and is launching later this month. Now again, I think it comes down to the person and whether or not they're okay with a subscription at that price, but also not owning the games they play, and I think some would just be fine with it. What do you think though? Is that price too high, or do you feel like subscription services like this are never worth the money? Let me know how you feel down below. Starting with release announcements is a mobile game, and not a positive story because God Eater Online is ending its services for both Android and iOS on September 27th in Japan. This looks like a ton of fun. The next Nintendo Labo kit is a steering wheel that is capable of doing everything from driving a car or boat to a submarine and even flying a plane. This sounds like the best kit yet, and it launches on Friday, September 14th. Speaking of Switch, if you love Smash Brothers and are preparing for the upcoming Smash Brothers Ultimate, then how about this classic GameCube controller designed to be compatible with your Nintendo Switch? There will be a choice of blue Zelda, red Mario, or yellow Pikachu themes, and all three will have a 3-meter or 10-foot USB cable. They will launch on the same day as Smash Ultimate on December 3rd. Coming out of Japan and getting a Western release is Earth Defense Force 5 for PS4, a game about saving the world from giant bugs, something to me that will never get old. Making its way to PC from console is Steven Universe Save the Light. It should be arriving on Steam later this year, but no release date or price was mentioned. Moving into update news with Vampyr getting two new modes. A story mode where the game will focus less on combat, and then a hard mode giving more of an emphasis on combat and enemies will award less experience. And our final update news is not for a video game, but the Detective Pikachu movie. It now has a different publishing company. Universal Studios has been replaced by Warner Brothers, and this is one time I actually would trust Warner Brothers. They've been terrible with video games lately, especially PC ports, but they can put out a movie, so this could be a good thing. By the way, Warner Brothers, I've got a deal for you. I will take back everything I have said about you in the last few years, and I won't say anything about you in the future if you give Danny DeVito the lead role. I mean it. I can make all of this go away. This next topic is one that I'm divided on, and I think my audience will be too. HTC is claiming that VR isn't dead. This comes after talks surrounding sales of the PlayStation VR, which you can see from this chart right here, have been all over the place, but overall is on a downward slope, suggesting that VR is not something your average gamer is ready for, but I would disagree that VR is dead. I think of it more as something that's taking a long time to grow, bud, and blossom. Instead of a flower taking roughly a year to grow, I think it's more like a tree, and like a tree, it'll take much longer, but create a foundation that'll be hard to uproot. How do you feel about VR? Do you feel like it's too expensive and the technology isn't good enough yet? Or do you feel like not enough gamers are getting with what's current? Share your thoughts down below. Alright, then we just have to talk about this one. There is a developer, and I use that term loosely, who has created a game, and again, I use that term loosely, for PlayStation Vita with easy trophies for the sole purpose of selling copies of their game. Does that sound familiar to you? I feel like that sounds familiar. Does anybody else know? I can't put my finger on it. I have no idea. It's called Little Adventure on the Prairie, and from everything I've seen, the art isn't terrible, but the gameplay and mechanics, I think I have to call it mechanics, are just awful, and you can get a platinum trophy in roughly 20 minutes. Actually, it's 22 trophies, all from just playing through it, and for $2, these things are selling like hotcakes. How the hell does something like this get onto the PlayStation Store? I thought Sony was better than that. I'm getting really sick of seeing this shit, and selling a game to make money should be the last reason you make a game. Personally, I think you should make a game for, I don't know, the purposes of having people play that game. Trust me, if it's good, the money will follow. Finally for today, we end on an interview with Mr. Branden Greene, talking once more about custom servers in PUBG. He says, "We can't provide people with free servers. There has to be a way to pay for servers through some sort of wall, either points, BP, or money." Oh, you can bet your ass it'll cost money. Mr. Money Grab continues on, "We just can't provide free servers for everyone. It's just not a sustainable business model." Somebody tell Blizzard, PUBG Corp is right. It's not sustainable to do the thing that you've done for the last 20 years. You're hurting yourself. Stop it. Look, I get that server machines cost money. I get that bandwidth costs money. But you already charge money for your product. And if you want to keep doing the things that you're doing, how about you charge more money up front rather than nickel and diming people? If you're going to have the business model where you charge people to host custom servers, then you should give those same people the option to host the servers themselves on their own machine. But I'm guessing that having more custom games is not actually what Mr. Greene wants. Come to think of it, Mr. Greene is actually a rather fitting nickname, don't you think? I am not buying this bullshit for 1 second in both senses of the phrase, and I encourage everyone else to do the same. How would you feel about hosting your own PUBG server in your own home? Let me know your thoughts down below. Once again, it's time for Monday's game releases, because I'm off for the next few days because I'm trying to find a level 3 helmet. Tired of getting shot in the face. For PC, Ember Doom VR, Guardians of the Past, and Radiant 1. Thank you very much, everybody. This has been News Cartridge. I am Dandruff. I will see you on Monday. And I love going outdoors. It's much better than going out windows. If we were going out Linux, that'd be a computer joke. Click up here to watch the bonus episode for today's show. Click down here to watch yesterday's episode, which is about loot boxes getting removed from Forza 7. Both of those links are in the description down below, and click over here to subscribe to my wonderful, wonderful channel. Thank you. See you on Monday. Go play some games.